If I start every video talking about explaining my extended stay or my extended departure, is it really an extended departure? Because all of them are kind of like this, you know? Sorry, I've been gone. I've been convicted and sentenced to 2 months prison time for impersonating the president of France and making coffee and baguettes illegal. But I'm back. I'm back and I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. I truly am. I've developed a fear for this. Yes, Microsoft, Notes, Docs, whatever you type on. Big grown man like me, afraid of writing. I pay bills. I pay rent. When it's hot outside, my balls itch, and when it's cold outside, my knees ache. I am a man. But I'm afraid of a little window application. But no more. I stand strong in the face of advertisement. I stand strong in the face of adversity. Tremaine is yet another prominent player or eruption from that Kanye, Virgil, Demna, Matthew, Samuel core that is currently running fashion as we know it today, which in of itself is another video to get into. They all either built or is currently running a prominent cornerstone in fashion over the past 5 years. What makes a legacy brand? What is the imminent transition that tells you a brand has entered the conversation of legacy or a brand that transcends generations? To me, I think about the passing of power. It feels like the machine that is said company has matured to the point where no one person is needed for it to function, but it in of itself is a living organism in a weird way, with constant moving organs, which would be the people that come in and out of said company. An argument can be made that the first passing of the company from its original founder to another represents the death or extinction of the spirit of that brand, or it can be seen as the beginning of a brand cementing its spirit. I think about brands like Gucci, SLP, and Balmain, where the essence of the brand is represented throughout every designer that enters the brand, merging with their personal techniques and tastes to inconsequentially alter the image of that brand. Maybe not inconsequentially, but definitely in minor ways, leaving the overall essence of the brand intact. I think of Demna at Balenciaga and Hedi Slimane at Celine, where they came in and imposed their will onto the brand, making drastic changes to the already established traditional pieces and aesthetic we know. Both sides to me are legacy brands and have been passed down to various organs to shape within their own or carry on the already functioning formula. Two brands I believe have entered that stage of maturity in their growth is OffWhite and Supreme. This year they both experienced their first designations of creative directors, Tremaine Emery at Supreme and Ibrahim Kamara at OffWhite. I think Tremaine is the first. I could check it, but I think he's the first. We're gonna go with that. Tremaine has been working in and around fashion for a very, very long time before he got to the position that he is in right now. The articles I've read and the interviews I've listened to, Tremaine has always been a hard worker and someone that followed his intuition. From mowing lawns to working at FedEx to dropping out of uni, working at J. Crew, Bird of Goodman, a liquor store, Kate Spade, and his longest tenure, Marc Jacobs, this nigga is the embodiment of the check must come in. There's a hopelessness that festers in when you're jumping from job to job. I can't speak for him entirely, but this was mentioned in the interview, speaking about doing what it takes to cover your expenses while you chase or figure out what your decision is, and I can speak from that personally. There's a submerging feeling that comes with jumping from job to job, doing whatever necessary to chase that thing you're currently pursuing. Part of it is exhilarating, I won't lie to you. The inconsistency, the sporadic lifestyle, going up and down in lifestyle as your pay changes, and the confidence built as you establish a strong self-efficacy in believing that regardless of your situation you're put in, you're able and capable of figuring it out and staying afloat. But that's the other aspect. That's all it really is, staying afloat, fighting the tides, but that is the only direction you even feel, finding solace in the broken compass. Throughout chasing opportunities on the path you wish to traverse, you come across many closed doors, but in some instances, it's not that you can't get in, but more so you haven't found the key yet. That sounded better in my head. I'm normally good with these. This one I'll give it like a light to decent 6.5, you know. Before appointing of Tremaine at Supreme, he actually tried to be employed by James Jebbia, founder of Supreme. Even before his 9-year run at Marc Jacobs, he was applying for a position at Union, but he was not able to get the position. However, he and James maintained a relationship for some years. I can't really fact check this right now because I'm reading the script. In interviews, Tremaine spoke greatly about the socio-democratic atmosphere at Marc Jacobs and how this molded his view of the workplace environment. Until recent interviews, still speaks very highly of Marc Jacobs. Right. A day has passed. These specifics are important. During the climb of attaining your goals, there are many risks you must take along the way. Must in caps. Because as much as we love to only focus on the art and creation aspect of it, a major, ow, I bite my tongue, Jesus Christ. A major part of this and most aspects of life is finances. After his tenure at Marc Jacobs ended, he was funding his passions using his severance package from his time at Marc Jacobs, touring DJ sets under what was not yet known but is known now as No Vacancy In, and continuing his creative consultancy career that was jump-started working with individuals and companies such as Stussy, Serge Becker of La Bodega Negra, hosting events and DJing at the London restaurant with A-Side, which is actually how he met Virgil Abloh back in 2012 or 2013, sometime around there. The same time, he met Kanye West and Frank Ocean, eventually working on Boys Don't Cry and Blunt, and working with Ye in 2016. No Vacancy is a representation of me and A-Side's brain together, said Tremaine. Logo designed by the two of them and Sam Ross, No Vacancy and represents the duo's constant moving lifestyle for the sake of creative endeavors, particularly DJing gigs. Ephemeral hotel, that's why no one's in it, that's why it's no vacancy, said Tremaine. The decision to fully chase what inspires you, freeing up your time usually spent at a job despite the obscurity of success and the inconsistency of payment from said passion project is terrifying. Yet exhilarating, a combination I experienced at specific moments in my life, moving out for the first time, switching jobs, and asking a crypto bro about the current market.
Come Rosie, tell me to come, said she didn't have a daughter, she didn't have a son, see if the lift doesn't work, run up the stairs and come.
His brand Denim Tears has a signature of surrounding his collections with references and messaging to African American roots, particularly slavery and the black experience of it in the US. The flower he uses a lot, and at this point is basically synonymous with the brand. The Gossypium flower is a flower that grows from cotton trees. Well, I guess the cotton is actually grown from the flower. Not important. I always think about the use of logos, images, and terms that was formerly used against or to oppress people, now used as a logo or badge of endearment, like niggers or chains. What is the relationship here? I don't know. Do I have the knowledge to get into that at this moment? That's a lot of reading, and I'm borderline illiterate. Borderline. That's why these videos take so long to come out. So the answer is no, I'm not gonna get into that. A fear of mine, or not a fear, but I guess a constant battle of mine when looking at art or when looking at pieces that I enjoy is I guess the tug of war of depth, meaning, and the technical art itself. What I mean is, sometimes you see artwork and it's ass, but there's a lot of meaning behind it, but the art is bad, and for me it's kind of hard to appreciate the entire thing of it because the art is bad. This is what I was initially here for. Like, it's if it's bad music but there's a deep messaging behind it, I don't really care that much because it's bad art. Like, you feel that the first thing, at least bad art to me, and if we want to go in the technical sense of like maybe poor quality writing or poor quality, sometimes I feel like people rely a lot on the in-depth meaning and philosophy behind their work so that it excuses poor art skills or art capabilities, the technical skills that come with creating art. That is what I feel. I'm not saying that that is the case with Tremaine. I just It just made me think about that, because that is something that does bother me from time to time, because I don't know how to feel about said art, because I don't enjoy it, but there's a deeper meaning behind it. And I believe that initially, first and foremost, the art should be good, and then there should be meaning. I didn't mean to sound like I had a stick up my ass just now. It's not that deep. It's just art, it's just a way of expression. It's not just art, but you understand what I mean. His Denim Tears debut of 4-piece collection was in 2019, which is something I did not know before reading this, and I felt like it was way older than it actually is. His collaborations run far and deep. We're talking about OffWhite, New Balance, Levi's, Tom Sachs, Converse, Stussy, Champion, Our Legacy, Uggs, Machine A, Frank Ocean, Kanye West, Andre 3000, Fiesta Gates, Serge Becker, Hank Willis Thomas, and Virgil Abloh. I want to start looking at Tremaine's philosophy and how he navigates life with this quote from an interview. Carry your mother's casket, everything else is light. Of everything he said in the interviews I watched, this is by far the heaviest and strangely uplifting sentiments of his. Basically putting everything into perspective. Your personal strife with others, your anxiety about working towards your aspiration and goals, all of this weighs nothing in comparison to the unimaginable weight of bearing a loved parent or caretaker. For me, it kind of contextualizes the fear I have about failing. Not invalidating it, but shining a light on the weightless severity of failing in this particular thing in comparison to some of the other life battles that you potentially have to face. It motivates me a little, which goes into something that he said. Failure is a good thing. It's how you get good at things. And a baseball reference about a batter who can hit 3 out of 10 balls make it into the Hall of Fame. It demystifies the apocalyptic feeling that comes with potentially failing at an aspiration, because quite frankly, you have unlimited tries and you only need very few of those to succeed. Reminds me of the saying that you only need to be once right. You need to be right once in business. Tremaine exudes the idea of freedom, talking about in life there are very limited elements that you can't control. So do not focus on the things you cannot control, but take that attention and focus it on the very limited things that you actually can control. His recent appointment as creative director of Supreme is one built on years of his work and building an arsenal of connections, creative directory and creative support spanning over 10 years in prominent fashion companies at varying demographics. But is he the right fit? I mean, of course the answer is kind of obvious on paper. It seems so. I don't want to say yes absolutely, because to be frank, I have not seen anything drop yet, and at this point in the script, something dropped. Things finally dropped, and none other than Andre 3000. And what do I think about the collection so far? I don't have anything definitively strong to say, but I like the pieces, and I like the it wasn't spoken word, but I like the video that was done with Andre 3000. This was certainly an act by Supreme and VF Corp to maintain the cultural hierarchy, the cultural supreme, for lack of better words, that Supreme has over the culture, and that it has been dwindling over the past few years. Let's not lie to ourselves. I am not of the belief that all clothing must have morals sewn and dyed into the cotton, but Denim Tears seems to navigate as such. He speaks about navigating through the systems you wish to change, and I wonder if this is foreshadowing for his intentions at Supreme. Once an unstoppable force? I sound corny. Like, what am I talking about, the Avengers? But no, once an unstoppable force in the culture and entertainment, Supreme has lost a lot of its steam from previous years, and that's not a major criticism, but just a stage of all flourishing business that seems to undergo their initial ascension to the top. It's like, I can't remember all the terms, but I know it's maturity, then a slight decline, and I'm not here to teach you marketing, we're talking about fashion, nigga. That's kinda it for this video. As much as he's a designer and creative director, there weren't many fashion pieces to talk about until the very end of the video, when he heard I was gonna release this video this week. So he said, I need to give my nigga some content. So I appreciate that. But apart from that, even with his Denim Tears brand, there isn't a lot of clothes to dissect and analyze. But I still enjoyed making this video and looking more into the intangibles of the person and the designer. That's about it. Thank you for watching this video, and